Since 2014, Cambridge City Council has been supporting employers to become living wage accredited with the Living Wage Foundation. The Foundation's real living wage is a voluntary rate of pay and is independently calculated to reflect the cost of living. Promoting the real living wage is a key part of the Council's anti-poverty strategy. There is now a movement of over 50 employers in Cambridge who are living wage accredited. The Council has directly supported around half of these employers with their accreditation. In order to become accredited, you must pay your directly employed staff the real living wage and also have a plan in place to pay the rate to your on-site contractors. ARM, whose head office is based in Cambridge, became accredited with the Foundation in 2015. They see accreditation as a key part of their corporate social responsibility.
ARM is an engineering company and we design microchips. We've got about 5,500 people across 45 different offices around the world. Living wage accreditation is really important to us at ARM. Overall, we've got a fairly high average salary for our people here. We've got some of the most experienced and brilliant engineers working for us from anywhere in the world. But we've also got people who support us in catering, in cleaning, and other contractors, and it's really important that they're also paid fairly. Well, our values as a business are that we are all about trust, we're all about fairness, we're all about equality. So what we're doing as a business is trying to ensure that everyone has equal opportunity to access technology, and therefore the way that we operate as an organisation is that we want everyone to have equal access to opportunity, not just to technology. And so for us, living wage is a way to do that. It's a way that it recognises that everyone has the right to a fair pay, and that will contribute to a better, more fair and egalitarian society. I think a lot of our employees are actually paid well in excess of the living wage. And so that was never really an issue that we needed to change too much about what we did internally. But it was something where we needed to look into some of our suppliers, we needed to look into some of our contractors, and just to make sure that everyone, whether they were part of the cleaning staff or the catering staff, or whether they were direct suppliers, making sure that they were all being paid the living wage and fairly. And so what it's done for them is, of course, it just given them confidence, I suppose, that they're working for an organisation that does believe in the individual and supports the individual, irrespective of what role you play within the organisation. I think it's been really important to our staff members. I think that those that were being paid in excess and are being paid well in excess of the living wage, I think it's important that they feel that they're working for a company that treats and respects all of its staff. We're growing as a company, we're growing at a tremendous rate, and that not just in our engineers, but in our catering people, in the needs we have for other support staff around the company. And they'll be attracted and then therefore retained and kept happy, and which is really important in a company like ours, by knowing that we're paying them a fair pay, and that being accredited is also really useful because it's recognised and it's a statement of public intent that we are paying people fairly.
Anglia-Ruskin University became accredited in 2016. We spoke to Helen Valentine about the accreditation process and the impact that their accreditation has had on their students.
So Anglia-Ruskin University is a pretty big university in the east of England. We're quite large, with about 25,000, something like that, students and a couple of thousand staff. Most of our staff were already above the threshold. People employed through our employment bureau, most of whom are our students, were not, and that's therefore very beneficial to them. And we know that students struggle with their finances, so this will help them quite a lot. And the living wage kicks in for all people over the age of 18, and we feel it's really important, especially as we employ some of our own students, that we pay them the kind of real living wage, regardless of whatever age they are. And we're asking all of our contractors to pay their employees the living wage. And when our own contracts come up for renewal, such as our cleaning contract, for example, we will be insisting that as part of those renegotiations, everybody is paid the real living wage. I think we're aware of it because it's Cambridge City Council campaign. Our trades unions were also quite keen on us becoming accredited, and our HR department led on the process. We found the accreditation process very easy and simple for us to access. Well, we know that students like both studying in and working for businesses that are ethical in a variety of ways, and there are studies that show that high proportions of them would prefer to both study in and work for a university that pays the living wage. So we believe that there are some reputational benefits for being an accredited living wage employer, both internally and externally. As I've already said, that our staff do want to see us as a good employer, and this plays to that. But also externally, we're an important employer in the Cambridge region, and we want to be seen as an accredited living wage employer.
As Helen mentioned, living wage accreditation can be extremely helpful for your company if you are aiming to employ graduates. Recent NUS research has found that accreditation would influence 2/3 of students in their choice of job. Over 90% of students feel it's important to work for an employer that pays the real living wage. The Cambridge Organic Food Company was one of the first employers to become accredited in Cambridge. They have been hugely influential in encouraging other food businesses to sign up to the real living wage.
The Cambridge Organic Food Company delivers boxes of locally produced organic fruit and vegetables to homes in and around Cambridge, and we also supply wholesale produce to local independent shops and restaurants. Living wage accreditation was important for the Cambridge Organic Food Company because we felt that it was in keeping with the ethical values that underpin the business. I think our attitude here is, the health and well-being of our staff, well, it's something that's really important to me, and we felt that going for living wage accreditation would make our staff feel valued. It demonstrates that the company sort of aims to have fair value exchanges, not just with regards to our staff, but with regards to our suppliers and, of course, our customers as well. As well as sort of the wider community and the environment too. So I'd say as part of a bigger set of values around the business, living wage accreditation was very much in keeping with that. Living wage accreditation has benefited our business in lots of ways. One of the most sort of tangible things that I can immediately think of is that it's helped staff retention. In our first year of being accredited, we literally had no staff turnover whatsoever. And when you consider the costs of employing just one person, training them up, the sort of loss of productivity during that process, that little increase in wages does actually pay for itself. Because our staff feel that little bit more valued, they're sort of more motivated, as I say, productivity and attendance are both really good. It's been a very, very positive thing for the business. Living wage accreditation has benefited our staff, I suppose, most obviously in the fact that everybody got a pay rise when we went for living wage accreditation, regardless of whether or not they needed it in order to go above the rate. And of course it also means that they will get a guaranteed pay rise every year each time the living wage rate goes up as well. But I think more importantly though, that it's the whole relationship that a member of staff has with the company is that they come here to earn their living. And living wage accreditation has been independently verified as being what a fair rate of pay is. So really to be paid sort of less than the living wage rate is perhaps something of an unfair value exchange. So I think by receiving what has been independently verified as a fair rate of pay will make them feel as though they're being fairly treated and valued by the company, and that's exactly what we hope to achieve by doing this. My experience of the living wage accreditation process has been just immensely positive. I consider it one of the most positive things that I've done in business in sort of recent years. But the journey that it's took me on has been amazing. We've had fantastic media coverage. It's opened all sorts of doors and networking opportunities for me. And as I say, one of the most positive things I've ever done in business.
Over 90% of living wage accredited employers feel that accreditation has benefited their business. Some of the key benefits they identified included an improved reputation as an ethical employer, increased motivation and retention rates of their employees. Living wage accreditation is good for society and good for your business. To join the living wage movement or for more information, email livingwage@cambridge.org.uk or go to our website www.cambridge.gov.uk/living wage.